From the deep, dark reaches of Star Trek Online comes Nikodas, Tabbytha, and Grebog with another episode of Fleet Action Report.
Hello, and welcome to Fleet Action Report, the show where we don't just play the game, but we teach you how to play the game. I'm Nikodas.
I'm Grebog, and over there, oh wait, unfortunately, way far away is Tabbytha. She is out of town and unfortunately not with us.
Which brings us to a change in the plans. Last week we announced that we were going to be doing a CSV build on the Arbiter. We are pushing that back a week because that is Tabitha's build, and we kind of want her here for it.
Yeah.
So instead, what are we naming this show? What do we put down?
Level 65. Now what?
We did a show like this way back 140 episodes ago. Back in good old episode 33, I think it was.
Long ago in a galaxy far. Oh wait, no, not so far away.
What episode are we on today, Grebog?
178. Also, if you would like to support us in our chaos, I won't go that. I was gonna say maybe if you support enough people support us, we could have make sure Tabby is here every time, but I can't guarantee that one. But hey, if you support us, we appreciate it, and you can do that by either following, liking, subscribing, go to our YouTube channel, going to coffee.com/Grebog, which is ko-fi.com/GREBOG, and you can support us that way. We have plans of putting up all of our maps that we do for the different events that, like, I've slapped together maps for those of you've been paying attention through time and history of the show. And we'll put them up on Coffee, so that way anyone that wants them can go to our Coffee page, and I was gonna put it behind. Yes, the you have to pay the monthly to get it, but I mean, I wanted to give something to those that are supporting us, something special, something extra, and that is just the start of some of the thoughts that we've had on doing stuff like that.
Well, since you've got the mic already, how has your week been?
It's been chaos, which is sometimes good and sometimes bad. It's been good. Let's see, my WoW raid team, we are the two tanks, which I am one of them. We are kind of petitioning the raid leader that can we start using the skip for normal and not killing every boss in the normal version difficulty, because we are so overgeared as a raid team now that we completely screwed up a raid wiping mechanic on the final boss of the current raid tier in normal. It should have, it would, if you weren't overgeared, it would have wiped us. We screwed it up and we won still. Which to me is a sign that we are so overgeared, we probably only need certain pieces of gear out of normal, and we should be skipping everything else. Just that's my kind of my 2 cents on it. Anyway, since outside of that, I've been doing my dailies in STO, playing around in Q's Winter Wonderland, because it is a fun time of the year. If you don't know about Q's Winter Wonderland, we'll briefly talk about it here in a minute. But yeah, it's fun. Go play in Q's Winter Wonderland. It's one of the fun events. Actually, they're all normally fun events, but you know. What else have I been doing? I sent my D&D players into the sewers.
Yes, you did.
And then they got to play with gray oozes that apparently they have an innate ability to go invisible, which I found fascinating. Um, they also have an innate ability to enlarge themselves. Uh, I'm like, oh, so not only are they huge, they can go to gargantuan size.
And apparently they're not entirely hostile.
They are neutral. They are. I was trying to make them the sewer cleaners, essentially, and they probably have been partially trained. I know they're not highly intelligent, but you can still train creatures that are not highly intelligent to do stuff. And so I kind of figured they were partially trained not to dick around with the humanoids that are in the sewers unless provoked. If they get provoked, then they likely will come at them. And they were, well, one of them was provoked.
Yes. Yes, they were. I cast Provoke on them.
All right, Nikodas, how's your week been? What have you been up to?
I have actually spent a great deal of time on STO this week, kind of making up for last week, I guess. Last week I logged in and did my daily and nothing else. This week I have logged in, done my daily, and spent time on some of my many secondary tunes, including putting. I counted exactly how many legendary ships I have bought over the years, and I am trying to make a legendary ship the primary ship of each of my tunes. I don't quite have enough to get all of them, but I'm close. So I was having fun setting up legendary ships on secondary tunes. It's been interesting. I still try to stick with the canon. So like all of my Starfleet characters are flying Starfleet ships. All of my Romulan characters are flying Romulan ships, etc., etc. The only time I really break down on doing that is like the Andorian officers are Starfleet officers, so I tend to have them fly Starfleet ships, even though there are Andorian ships in the game. Although there are no legendary Andorian ships in the game yet, so take that as you will. Same with the Cations and I was going to say the Zinti, but that's the wrong name. What are they? The Farasans, which they each have their own, ships in the game. There are Farasan. Well, there's a Farasan ship, and there's like 3 different Cation ships. But the Farasans are the Klingon Empire, and the Cations are part of the Federation. So I tend to stick them in KDF and Fed ships respectively. So this has been an interesting challenge trying to get all my legendary ships to be in use somewhere. I still have a couple I need to put roots down on, but we'll get there. The other thing I've been doing this week is playing on my Switch. There are 2 games out that I have been working on pretty prolifically. The first one is Super Mario RPG. I have been a fan of that since the original came out. The remake is a lot of fun, although I think it's a little overpriced for what it is. But I still, bought it and I'm still playing around on it. So take that as you will. And then Pokemon Violet and Scarlet have a new expansion that dropped yesterday. And I've been spending a great deal of time on that as well. So that's been my week. How about this week in STO, Grebog?
STO has been doing well. They keep announcing stuff, which is not a bad thing. Not a bad thing at all. So something that's a little bit older, and we already slightly mentioned, was Q's Winter Wonderland. It's already ongoing. It's been going for just over a week now. You have until January 4th to get your 20 completions to get the ship, and the ship is the Temerian Deep Space Cruiser. Here, let me pull this up real quick, and you too can look at it. I thought
There's
we
another,
could
there's
click
another subtype
on.
for you.
There we go. If you don't remember this ship, go back and watch The Next Generation. It is from Star Trek Next Generation, one of the older episodes, I mean, I guess they're now older. Oh, I'm getting old. Um, Darmok and Jalad, eh, good friends. They
Yeah.
they gave this ship some of the special abilities from things from the episode. It's kind of cool. It's basically Children of Tama, and all the stuff there. It is cool that they went with that. I like the seeing ships like they did it with the Hysperion, renaming some of the abilities of the ship. And here they did it again. Good stuff. And it looks like it's going to be a good ship and fun to play with.
It does look interesting. I'll give you that. Oh, is that my turn? Sorry.
Yes.
Sorry. So there are new items in Mud's Market that came out today. There is a Universal Console, a Car's Vengeance. There's the Coalition Repulsor Armor and the Nadarian Defender, which is probably why I've seen a couple flowing around outside ESD here, although I can't see any currently. There's also a sale that started today in Mud's Market. Everything is 75% off, not including bundles from today until the 18th, which is Monday, so only for the weekend. So enjoy those Muds items while you can.
So yeah, for those that were wanted Sylvia's feline charm, I know there were some of you out there looking for that. It is now on sale as part of this sale, and is 2,000 Zen, which is going to be the cheapest you're going to get it at. Otherwise, it's normally 8,000 Zen. Yeah, and on my
$20.
screen you can see the various prices. Like the Nadarian Defender is supposed to be 17,000 Zen normally. On sale it's at 4,250. The Coalition Repulsor Armor is at 2,000 on sale, and same with the console is 2,000 while on sale. Again, Mud's Market, I would say never buy anything at full price. Wait for a sale, please.
$20, and you too can turn into a fluffy black cat
And run pretty fast.
and run fast. Sorry, I had to go there. All right, I'm going to steal yours. There's an Admiralty bonus week, started today, goes until the 21st. All Admiralty missions are going to grant bonus rewards and double campaign XP. I don't play as much with the Admiralty system as I probably should, but there are some good rewards in here. A lot of experience and expertise to be had. There are also some of these, I don't think I have any pulled up right now, but there are some that will give quite a bit of dilithium ore and whatnot. I know at one point running missions in here to get dilithium was one of the best ways to do it. Obviously, haven't worked on it as much as I should. And I totally just stole that from you. Sorry, Greenwalk.
It's fine. It's also a great time to, if you have the temporal recruits or well, any of the recruits that require your Admiralty to max out or whatever. It is a great time to push those recruits up and get their Admiralty stuff knocked out.
True enough. True enough. All right. So our primary target today, like we mentioned, we've had some new players join the game, and we've been talking to a couple of them. So we thought we would cover what to do once you hit max level. Now this is more directed towards getting your first tune to 65. Um, Although it can be a good reminder of what all is out there for those of us that have secondary or tertiary or 450 characters. So what I do when I first get to 65 is I almost immediately start working on my reputations. Um, Now I use a lot of the stuff you get from the recruit events So a lot of the account unlocks from the recruits to get a jump start on marks, because in order to get um, a reputation from 0 to tier 6 takes 1,800 marks each. Now it's only 900 to get to tier 5, and once you get to tier 5, it typically will give you a large chunk of marks, usually in the 6 to 700 range.
Is that with the discount, or is that after you get the
that's
discount?
true. That's true. I forgot about that, because the discount's half off, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. So if you're on your first tune, it's actually 1,800 marks to get to tier 5, and another 18. Well, then it would be another, because that's where you get the discount, is at tier
Yes.
5. So it would
Tier
be
5.
1,800 to get to tier 5, and then 900 to go from 5 to 6. So there you go. So 2,700 marks if you have never done your reps before, 1,800 marks if you have done the reps on another character. But regardless, that's a lot of marks. And that doesn't even include marks that you're going to spend on stuff. Like if you buy the Tilly shield or whatever, that is above and beyond those 18 or 2,700 marks that you need to get to max level. So there's a lot of marks that go into it. But you can get those by running TFOs. And you don't even have to run them at the max difficulty or even on advanced. You can just run them on normal and start racking up the marks that you need. But that's what I start on when I get to 65. And we're going to run a TFO so you don't just have to listen to us sitting here talking the whole time. And then we'll get into some of the other stuff. So I'm going to cue us for a rando. Are you ready?
Sure. I
It
got
would
my
help
new
if I opened
trait.
up the right window.
I went and grabbed since I pushed the ship up another level. Oh, hey, ready to go already. Wee woo. I grabbed the strike group of command authority, which boosts my pets. But
okay, I'm in formation. We're ready to go as soon as it lets us. That's not a Vanguard ship, is it?
It is not. That is one of the drawbacks to it. This is a dreadnought carrier, just a standard Jem'Hadar ship. It is a cruiser, but it is also a carrier. It was one of the early, like at tier 5, it was one of the earlier carriers that was also a cruiser instead of a science vessel.
You have penetrated. Disconnected.
Where are we?
I've disconnected.
You're in here.
I'm in here, yes. No. I said this is, I believe, Hive disconnected.
Oh, gotcha. I thought you said I've disconnected. I was like, wait a minute, what? Into the Hive. Okay, is this the one where we got to be on the different layers and
I think
somebody
so.
has to go inside?
I think so.
Yuck.
Well, this one's not too bad. All right, so
I am not ready for this mission. I was not expecting ground.
come on, trigger the thing so I can see, this is when everyone should go to one of the corners.
Oh, okay. It's this one.
Yeah.
All right.
Don't stand on the green things. So also other things you can. One of the things I like to also do while starting out fresh 65 is I like to put up get my R&D started. Now let me clarify. I only do essentially the research projects that they let you they give you right off the bat. Because it is a great way to get the experience without having to you know, craft a bunch of stuff. There we go. I'm abused.
Sorry, this is being a little bit more intense than I was expecting.
But what I mean is when you go into R&D, you have you'll only have a handful of open spots. Oops. As I'm not even paying attention to what I'm doing, I just like I said, don't stand on the green things. All right, hopefully I'm between two green squares.
What are we supposed to be doing here?
Holy
are we
crap.
Ready to move on?
I'm just getting wrecked, apparently.
Well, you're stuck down there by yourself. I'm trapped by green things, so I can't get over there. There, he's down. Okay. Yeah, this was a really bad choice for a TFO.
But,
we got all the corners, so are we just supposed to be taking these guys down?
the door is open.
Okay, there we go.
But yeah, when you're in the R&D like system here, you see how you can go to one of the schools and go select at the very bottom. There is a research project, and it will be for the school. You can click begin, and it will pick a research lab scientist. And you can click start. I always do that right off the bat as soon as I can start channeling all that stuff, because it is the fastest way I know to get your R&D schools leveled up without having to spend time and effort. Yeah, it just is a 20-hour project.
We are detecting.
Huh. What's the command to load macros again? Do you remember offhand?
I'd have to look at my
Like bind load file or something like that?
yeah, something like that.
My spam bar is not working. That's great. Oh, quit targeting me.
Reacting to the virus upload. Reinforcements inbound.
That's just great. I love it when my stuff stops working for no reason.
It's oh hey, now the remodulate shows up. At least it's now giving you a nice big warning that you need to remodulate, unlike before. You just had to
I agree.
pay attention.
Oh, we are loading. Okay.
So reputations, R&D is great to do. TFOs are a great way to get the marks. If there's an event on that has some TFOs involved, that is a even better way to get marks, because normally it lets you pick a random mark package of your choice, which lets you get like competitive marks even, which is, for those that don't know, competitive marks, you have to run specific TFOs that no one likes to run. And so getting a group to do it, you either have to plan ahead, unless you are going to be a very, very patient person.
Yeah, I mean, those can take an exceptional long time to get groups to do them nowadays. And the thing is they're really not bad.
They
It's
are
just
not.
that it takes a lot of people.
Well, it takes 10 people, which is one of the reasons it takes so long. Boy,
But people don't queue for them like they used to either. I wonder.
They've tweaked this mission, and now there's a timer before the barrier goes down. I did not know this until now. Like, now we can go through.
They did it a couple times ago, or a couple updates ago.
Yeah, it was
annoying.
when they did the Borg update. So, okay, here's something. If they're going to flash the remodulate thing on our screen and whatnot, why not just have the button that we use to fire just automatically switch to the remodulate until, yeah.
Well, I am sure that we could do a macro for that. We just got to figure out what the command is to remodulate, and then macro it in. Elite tactical drone is down. Oh, we still got Borg up somewhere.
Yeah, back here by me.
Okay, I'm coming. You get him?
Yeah, we got him.
Okay. Disable force field. And then the boss fight. This is not the one that I was thinking of.
Yeah, this is a different one.
Do you think you have wounded me? Separated me from
Okay, so
a good
you
question
talked about
is what these specializations, what should we do with them now that we're at like max level, buddy?
I am bored. I am.
They're so confusing. What do they mean?
which ones are good.
I mean, that's always a good choice, or a good question.
So specializations come from essentially what happens to your experience points when you hit max level, because you will notice fairly quickly that you are still gaining experience points. Those experience points become part of the specialization system, which is a series of tech or talent trees that you can unlock extra perks for. A lot of it is passive, but every once in a while you'll find something that is a clicky to add damage or buff you in some way, but a lot of it is passive. And she's going back up top. There are, let's see here, exactly how many are there? 3, 4, 5, 6. So 8 specializations in total, with Commando and Strategist being primarily ground. I'm sorry, Strategist is space. I said that wrong. Commando is ground, Strategist is space, Constable is both. I think all the rest of them are both.
Yeah.
Command, Intel, Miracle Worker, and Temporal are both. Pilot is space only. So, I didn't get out of there in time. See, I'm talking so much and I was standing in stuff. It's always bad to stand in stuff. Luckily, I can rest myself. Okay, where's the big ugly guy?
About to be standing in fire.
He's going down. And so am I, apparently. See, this is what happens when I'm trying to talk and game at the same time. Never a good idea. I fixed my my spam bar, by the way, so it's working again.
Yay.
Bonus.
Now, which one should we pick? Like,
So,
You cannot defeat
yeah, that's where I was going with that. She's down anyway. So a lot of the quote experts recommend that for your first set of specializations, you focus on intel uh, as your primary and specialist as your secondary. That gives you a lot of extra damage boost for your DPS builds. Now, if you're working on something other than a DPS build, like a control build or something, temporal ops can be a good one. But intel and specialists tend to be the ones that most people will tell you to start with.
Strategist?
Yeah, sorry. I said specialist. Strategist. See, I'm still distracted. I'm doing stuff here. Yes.
Now, the TLDR on a lot of intel means like you're looking for weak spots. You're taking advantage of flank, stuff like that. It's a good DPS booster, ground and space, and they both do that. They're looking for looking for the weaknesses, looking for, yeah. Miracle Worker. Think of Scotty. Anytime you think Miracle Worker, think of Scotty and how he made the Enterprise survivable, longer, further, all that could take the hits. So if you wanted to be more tanky, you could go with Miracle Worker. Pilot's always about maneuverability. Temporal Operative, I guess the easiest way is think of a Warlock from World of Warcraft. It's about manipulating your damage over times, your debuffs that you're putting onto the enemies, making them more potent. Or I guess it'd be a good way of thinking of any of your anomalies. It's great for helping them. Command,
But again,
but yeah, again, typically the most common to start with are intel primary, is strategist secondary.
and the reason for that is STO is a game where it kind of epitomizes, the best defense is a good offense. If the enemies are dead, they can't hurt you. So for the most part, people will tell you focus on your DPS and ignore everything else. Now, once you get, like, if you get a team that wants to run elite content, then you get more into, you need somebody to be a tank, you need somebody to be a debuffer, so on and so forth. But when you're just starting out, you really want to focus on the DPS for the most part. Okay, so another thing you can work on that can help all the above is to start collecting duty officers. Now, we've done episodes in the past with duty officers, so I'm not going to get into it a whole lot here. I will say, depending on which faction you're on, there are areas on Starfleet Academy and the First City to start missions that will give you duty officers. Most of them will take several hours up to a day to complete, but it will, you can start your collection that way.
It's a good way of passively gathering more duty officers, is going to the First City or Academy and just doing the, hey, I need more duty officers.
Another thing you can do is on the map, you can look for clusters. And a lot of times, like, here's the Kazan cluster. You can go there, or the Arcanus arm. Any of these markers that show like heads of people or silhouettes of people, those are areas that will have duty officer missions that can collect special duty officers. So you can run out there and do that. And then, or if you're looking for something specific, like say you're working on the R&D system and you need, let me see here, say you need a research lab scientist, you can go to the exchange, look up a research lab scientist, and just buy one. And if you're using it for this purpose, the quality doesn't really matter. So go cheap, save your EC, buy something that you need, and toss it on here. Be careful though, because if you're also donating stuff to fleet projects, white duty officers will go first. So be careful with that.
Yeah. You can also, depending upon your fleet, and here let's move into that right at. You can most fleets you can go and buy duty officers at said fleet. So there are different duty officers offered at the different holdings. There is normally a vendor, though the fleets, depending upon whether these vendors are accessible, is based on whether or not your fleet has them unlocked. Us having our fleet basically completely done, we have all of that, and if you need help getting access to some vendors, definitely contact Katis, or well, Nikodas, me, Grebog, or Tabby, and we will be glad to help you gain access to a fleet with holdings that have everything unlocked that you can go and buy stuff. Though you still would need to be in a fleet that has the provisions accessible for you to use to be able to buy them, because it would use your fleet's provisions, but you can use our stores to get the stuff. But yeah, fleets. How to find a fleet is always a good question, and it's not required to be part of a fleet. To play STO, there are benefits to having a fleet, and one of which is the duty officers. Another is there are consoles and whatnot that are hard to pick up any other way. Well, they're the best, some of the best consoles in the game, or deflectors, or and so being part of a fleet, there's the benefit of having access to all of that. But like I said, it's not required. You can easily get through the game just fine without ever being part of a fleet. However, some fleets, be cautious. Some fleets, they will want you to donate a certain amount of something every month. Some fleets don't have that requirement. Some fleets require you to play X amount every month. Some fleets require you to donate X amount to fleet holdings each month. It's best to, there are plenty of fleets out there that you can find one that fits your play style. There are also plenty of fleets that don't require any of that stuff, but they also typically are more of the, I don't know what you want to call it, casual players.
Yeah, that's as good a way as any to put it.
I mean, because we don't require anything. I'm not going to ask people to give the fleet a key every month. I'm just happy to have friends around to play with. That is my goal. Nothing more. And we have plenty of people that donate to the holding projects to keep the provisions filled. That's not a problem of making a requirement to make people donate to all that stuff. So
yeah, we keep pretty busy.
But
so
yeah. And if you're looking for a fleet, you can join us.
Yeah, we're always recruiting. We would love you to come join us. So acquiring ships. So the question always comes up, once somebody hits level 65, they always want to ask, what ship should I fly? And really that's a matter of personal taste. I always recommend that at some point in time you get a tier 6, just because those are the ships that come with traits and have the specialty seating. You have a more variety of builds you can do, but even a tier 5 ship can get you to the end game, and you can even run elite content in a tier 5 ship and do just fine. I just recommend the tier 6s.
when the game first launched, there was specifically 3 types of ships in the game. You had your escorts, your science vessels, and your cruisers. Over the years, that has been expanded upon, and now there are kind of subcategories. And I'm not even talking about the specialties. Like here, you see an Intel escort, but that the Intel part of that is a specialization, just like your skill specializations. You have intelligence officer. Well, you have an Intel escort as well. Now, some of those crossover, like you have an Intel escort, Intel cruiser, Intel science vessel, and the Intel perk will carry over to all those. It'll be the same on that ship. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is like you get into things like the warships, which is a subcategory of escort, the strike wing escorts, the destroyers, the raptors, the raiders, the pilot escorts. And now pilot is also a specialization, but you have the pilot maneuvers on those ships, so they're kind of their own thing. Although there are pilot science vessels as well, so take that with a grain of salt. In the cruisers, you have light cruisers, frigates, heavy cruisers, assault cruisers, support cruisers, star cruisers, battle cruisers. The big ones though for cruiser are the juggernauts and the dreadnoughts. Those are like the heaviest of the heavy ships. Those are going to be your massive, slow turning, hard to kill type of ships. Like the Borg ships are juggernauts. There's a 32nd century ship that's a juggernaut. Those tend to only, the juggernauts are only available at the moment in lockboxes. The dreadnoughts, there are a few dreadnoughts in the Zen store. So take that as you will. And then in the science vessels, like you have the carriers, you have the long range science, you have the multi-mission science, you have the light science, you have the scout ships, which is kind of edging, like it's a science ship that's edging towards an escort. But then you have the science warships and the science battle cruisers that are almost more escorts with a science leaning. And that's like they started to blend stuff a little bit more. Like a light cruiser is really really close to an escort, or a frigate, or a light frigate. I saw that earlier. That's kind of really close to an escort. So what you fly is entirely up to you, and you can make almost any ship completely viable in this game. I cannot stress that enough. The people that tell you that you have to fly a certain ship, that is not true. You can fly any ship you want and it still be viable for elite content. The big thing is find the ship that works for you, and we can help with that. We can also help with builds. As I've said before, we do a segment called Enter the Workshop where we will bring you onto the show with us. We will help you deck out a ship, to build. We can help you with a budget build. We can help you with an expensive build. It doesn't matter. We will get you the parts. We will help you. Let me rephrase that. We will help you get the parts that you need or get the equipment you need to do the build that you want to do. So take that as you will. The other 2 questions that come up are what energy types do you want to use and what equipment do you want to use? And a lot of that depends ultimately on the type of build that you want to do. Energy type doesn't matter a whole lot as long as you use all of the same energy type. That way your consoles that you equip all boost the same energy type. You'll get the most bang for your buck that way. But like as far as choosing between phaser, disruptor, anti-proton, tetrion, polaron, whatever, it doesn't really matter. Pick your favorite flavor and run with it. And then equipment on the ship and equipment on the ground mostly is going to be up to you. There are meta builds, like, well, I'm not even using the meta build right now. I was. But the prevailing impulse engines tend to be meta. The elite fleet deflector tends to be meta. And then for the most part, they'll say for the warp and shields, use the disco rep items, which is the Tilly shield, and I forget what the warp core is, the mycelial warp core, I think.
Mycelial
Because
harmonic matter antimatter core.
there you go. Those are the meta items. For ground, there's a meta set as well. They want you to use the Nakul shield, the Nakul weapon, Usually the Burnham environmental suit and the Burnham armor. I am not using the Burnham armor, but meta would be to use that. And then the Ryzian kit, which I am also not using. So I'm not meta. So even like you see with me, you don't have to play meta to make a good character and to make it work. You can play with the equipment that you want to use. Just have fun, in essence. Ground is not nearly as difficult to do an elite build for as space is, but even then, unless you're just really, really struggling, you can pretty much use what you want. Just upgrade it to max level. You're good to go. You want to talk about the Endeavor system before we get out of here?
So the Endeavor system, think of it as a daily quest system for everybody. When yeah, you're gonna see how bad I am at doing the dailies in STO. There's a reason why some people call this doing the paperwork, because it's literally like every day, which means do this as you please. I would not like, yes, it's great if you can get them all done every day. I wouldn't stress on it. In my honest opinion, they are great buffs. They are account wide buffs that you get once you get Endeavors unlocked. But like this one has deal Tetrion damage ground, destroy Undine ships in the Dyson battle zone, and destroy Voth ships in the Dyson sphere. I mean, all of those not too terrible to do, but as you can see, I have not done them today, and I have 6 hours left. But the perks are why you would do it, and as you can see, like, you know, here I have crit severity space pretty much, well, halfway up, and these are account wide, great to pick up. Again, I wouldn't. If you are a new player, there is a lot to do, and I get that. And yes, the Endeavor system is part of that. I would not stress. Pick what you can do and do that. And then once you get comfortable doing that, then maybe look at some of the other stuff. The things I would recommend doing though are the events when they pop up. Try to do the events when they pop up and get your dailies done, for the fact that they give you rewards that you can then reclaim on all your captains once you have other captains. That is how there are ships, there's space equipment that they give us, that there is, ground equipment. Some of these things make it way easier leveling up alts when you get to deciding to do an alt, or they can even help you get geared up and taking that next step. And there will be times that, like, if you decided, oh hey, I don't see that I'm going to need that, then later down the road you hear people like, oh, you should use this, and you're like, ah, crap, I didn't finish that event because I didn't think it was that good. So, I mean, like this ship, it looks interesting, which is the current event ship. So, I mean, it's a free ship. If you don't have any tier 6 ships, it wouldn't be a bad one to pick up to get put into your ship pool. And it is a cruiser, which means it'll be slow turning. If you don't like slow turning ships, may not be the ship for you, but it may be a ship that you can use until you can get the ship that is for you.
Huh. It's an interesting looking ship. Speaking of, have you done your daily yet? You want to do that real quick before we log off?
I should flip tunes then.
You should what?
Flip tunes.
Oh,
because all my winter event stuff is on another tune. I spend most of my time in the winter event on Grebog.
That's okay. I need to visit.
You got injured.
Yep.
But The main,
Oh.
like, I know I keep saying it, like, the main thing is don't. Yes, there's tons of stuff and it's easy to get overwhelmed. Take a breath and just pick something to work on and then move to the next thing. That is probably the easiest method, in my opinion. And maxing out your specializations. I know we talked about specializations earlier. It'll happen as you're doing stuff. Honestly, the first time you level up a tune, I highly recommend going through the story. There's a lot of fun, good story in the game, and just doing the missions is enough to there'll be rewards from the missions that will help you gear up your ship, and also ground builds, so that helps out. Plus the story is really good, and all that stuff is free.
That's interesting. I didn't realize how much the major regenerators are worth.
You can also just go to the med bay, and they will help you.
Yeah, it's all right. It's free that way. That's true. Go see the doctor. I had already come out here to the zone, though. The Winter Wonderland. Crampiri's coming up. You want to do that?
Sure, I'm already on the ice.
The Koskari
Oh,
has been
so you are.
Prepare for
Beat me to it, and I'm not even on the same map as you.
Oh yeah, switch over quick, and we have the gummy worm.
I'm coming. I'm coming. I don't actually need the daily. I did it earlier today. I was more worried about you, but I'm here.
Anyone in chat have recommendations for a new 65, first time 65,
Or any questions?
or any
comments,
questions for if
concerns?
you are new to the game and are unsure where to go, what to do? That's my daily progress.
There you go. Congrats. And we'll do some skating. All right. So next week, barring, any unforeseen circumstances, we will be doing a cannon scatter volley build on the Arbiter battle cruiser. And that's the regular tier 6 that is available in the Zen store. We are not doing the fleet version. We are not doing the legendary. You could modify the build to fit either of those ships. So if you don't have the regular one, or you want to use one of the higher quality ones, that's not the right term, but I can't think of what else to use, then you can adjust our build accordingly. But we wanted to kind of do it as a budget build, or that's Tabby wanted to do it as a budget build, and therefore more people would be able to access it. So that's what we're going to cover.
I have a
I
question
think
for
that's
you.
it. Yeah.
So I noticed that a week from Monday, it is going to be our Monday fun night is on Christmas Day. We need to decide if we're still going to do it.
I do not have any plans that will take place that late. So I will be home and I will be available. So my vote would be yes.
Maybe we'll do an I'm going to guess that my raid's not going to happen that night, which is fine. And so we could probably do an extra long fun night.
Okay.
If anyone wants. But yeah. We'll get. I just I was random thought. My brain, hey, Christmas is coming. What are we going to be doing about that?
That's a good question.
Anyway,
are we going to raid somebody?
Well, first we need to end the show.
Yeah.
Thank you all
See,
for coming
I'm
out
jumping ahead again.
and listening to us and our information. If you have suggestions for us, want to give us suggestions, you can join our Discord. You can also send me in-game mail if you want. Which would be at Real Grebog. You can also send Nikodas messages too. There's no bat guano in this game, so we can't just keep sending him bat guano.
Give it time. I'm sure we could find something or convince the devs to add it in some way.
Send him tribble carcasses. There we go.
There you go. Yeah. That's the rough equivalent.
But yeah.
See you out there, and as Tabby would say, have fun, be safe, and don't set the world on fire.
Don't set yourself on fire. Or, I don't know. Something like that. Yes. Or is that in the notes? Do we have it written down? Anyway.
We do.
Have a great night.
She has be fun, have safe, and don't set yourselves on fire.
After I'll come back and we'll raid somebody. So, yeah. Live long and prosper, everybody.